Alright, so today I want to talk about the myth of systemic racism and white privilege. So, also we're going to talk about uh, Nikole Hannah-Jones's comment that apparently um, looting and rioting is not a crime because if no one gets killed, and we're also going to talk about Andrew Cuomo's comment that apparently we have no reason to believe that protests are supposed to be peaceful. Let's jump right into it. Alright, so professional idiot Nikole Hannah-Jones over at the New York Times, writer of the idiotic think piece, the 1619 Project, or more like non-think piece, has said that apparently looting and rioting is not a problem because no one's getting killed. This makes no sense. Like, what? Okay, where's the evidence for that? Alright, where in the Constitution does it say that, we can steal whatever we want, because as long as we don't shoot anybody. Alright? Like I mentioned in my last video, I farm for a living. I'm looking at maybe buying a power tool, something called an impact wrench, to have as another tool on the farm. I think we could use one. We don't have one. It's kind of an expensive tool. I know other people who do have one and use it, and they think I could really use one on the farm. So, does that mean that I have the right now, according to Nikole Hannah-Jones, to take a sledgehammer to the local Menards, rally up a bunch of white liberals, and then go and get myself a impact wrench at a highly decreased rate? I'm gonna be saving myself like $200 if I just go out at 9 o'clock and rally up a bunch of white liberals and grab myself a free impact wrench. And there's no evidence for this. The U.S. law is based on a Judeo-Christian based law, and look at the Ten Commandments. It has "Thou shalt not kill" and "Thou shalt not steal." It's not "Thou shalt not kill and steal." Otherwise, stealing's okay, provided no one gets killed. This is just complete nonsense. So Fredo over at CNN, Andrew Cuomo, the dumber of the two Fredo brothers, arguably, has made the comment that what right do we have to expect protests to be peaceful? How about the First Amendment? Okay, the First Amendment, the right to peaceably assemble, not the right to break into a Target, take everything you want, and then light said Target on fire. Okay, alright, yeah, I agree. Human life matters more than property. If I don't have a handgun, if I'm not married right now, but if I were married and I was in a part of the country that I thought had a considerably high chance of me getting mugged by somebody with a gun who wants my car, I would probably own a gun. But let's suppose I didn't have one. Alright, I'm gonna give that person my car keys rather than have them hurt my in this case, imaginary spouse, since I'm not actually married. But I'm gonna protect both if I can. Alright? Yes, life is more important, but property, these products that they're stealing, are being sold so that people can make money and feed themselves and their families and live a normal human life. alright? Quality of life also matters. Quality of life is part of living, okay? Not everyone wants to be Bernie Sanders and just live off the government all the time. And then we're also going to talk about now the systematic racism that these Black Lives Matter protesters are saying exists in this country. Where is this systemic racism? Okay. Alright, look at how many police chiefs are black. Look at how many celebrities are black. Look at how many professional athletes in the NFL and the NBA are black. Alright, where's this systemic racism when all these black players like Stephon Diggs and Jameis Winston and Odell Beckham Jr. are getting paid millions of dollars to run around on a football field from August till February? Alright, how is there systemic racism when people like LeBron James and Steph Curry, which I guess they would say Steph Curry is black, he's almost as white as me. Alright, how is there systemic racism when they're getting paid millions of dollars to dribble a basketball around on a wood floor and throw it up into a basket? Alright, within the NFL, there is not a single white cornerback in all 32 teams of the NFL. Now, are you going to tell me that there is no person in the United States who plays football, is white, and has pro-level talent, and plays cornerback? Alright, for those of you who don't know, cornerback is a defensive position. Alright, there's not a single white cornerback in all 32 teams of the NFL. Alright, if there's systemic racism, then if the systemic racism is so prevalent, why do we have... Okay, you have the right to vote. You used to not. You know, there used to be Jim Crow. Does Jim Crow mean nothing? Does the ending of Jim Crow mean nothing? Now recently in Great Britain, protesters tore down a statue of the businessman and Member of Parliament Edward Colston. Now, Colston was, as I said, a businessman, Member of Parliament. Now, his business, he held a monopoly on the British slave trade. Practically every slave ship that ever docked in Great Britain was owned by Edward Colston. Now, we can all agree that slavery from a moral perspective was wrong. Okay? But are we now going to tear down every statue of every person who was associated with slavery? If we're going to go that far, if you're going to tear down Edward Colston's statue, then you better blow George Washington off Mount Rushmore, okay? Because that guy owned slaves. And I guess we're going to have to blow Lincoln off of Mount Rushmore too, because his father-in-law was a slave owner. Alright, so what if Lincoln wrote the Emancipation Proclamation and was the president at the time of a war that fought over states' rights, and whether or not Southerners and people in general had the right to own slaves? Because you were married to the daughter of a slave owner, apparently that means nothing. Alright? If all of your good qualities are gone because you happen to be associated with slavery, that is just nonsense, okay? And apparently we're going to have to tear down John Locke too, because John Locke, who wrote the ideas of the founding principles that caused this nation to fight for their freedom against the British was one of Edward Colston's main investors. So we're going to have to get rid of George Washington. We're going to have to take him off the run, blow him off the Mount Rushmore. We're going to have to rename Washington, D.C. We're going to have to rename the state of Washington. Guess we could name it, well, can't even name it Jefferson. I think that guy had slaves too. Alright, we're going to have to rename 2 states and the capital. We're going to have to blow them off the side of a mountain. We're going to have to rename a bunch of monuments. We're going to have to tear down the Lincoln Memorial because that guy was married to a slave owner. We'll probably have to take Benjamin Franklin off the $100 bill. I mean, the guy was pretty wealthy. I'm sure he had at least a few slaves. But no, this is complete stupidity. You do not. We're not gonna tear. How can you tear down someone just because they have one quality that several years later is now considered bad? Okay, does that mean that if years in the future we decide that being gay is wrong and bad, that we're going to have to tear down all these, that if we start putting up gay monuments to gay people, that we'll have to start tearing down all those and defacing all their names? This is just complete stupidity. Thank you for watching.